Hi everyone. It was a pretty overall positive session for the stock market on Wednesday. However, it wasn't that positive. Obviously, the indexes rose on lower than the day before volume, as you can see here on the New York Stock Exchange and here on the NASDAQ. And also on top of that, we did not close the day really strong. Initially rallying at the 3 p.m. hour and then rolling over and erasing those gains by the close. Hence, you kind of get that little wick action in the daily bar chart here on the NASDAQ, and as you also saw on the New York Stock Exchange right there. But the S&P 500, whoa. But the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average also show the same kind of price action, and as you can see and assume with the lower volume than the day before, overall that has done nothing to really remove the selling pressure that occurred the session before whenever markets broke over 1% each on all the indexes. So overall we have a market that's still under pressure, but internally it's not that bad. We don't have any full sells tonight. We only have one partial sell. RVLT is another 50% sell with a close below the most recent lows, below the 50-day moving average. It still is showing some decent gains overall, so I will once again give it more room before getting rid of all of it. But besides RVLT being a 50% sell, there was nothing else to do. And another good sign is that still, Guild, I'm going to be putting back on some of these buy stops. GILD did a pocket pivot point in today's session, and BIIB still is basing. I don't think I'm going to initiate one there yet, but I'll be watching it. ILMN, I guess I'm going to go ahead and put it back on with this one. Other stocks like CMG, you can see how tight it's basing right now. I'm definitely going to be initiating buy stops on that stock. LYB is a possibility, not quite sure yet. CELG is a definite that you will definitely see a buy stop initiated, especially after a pocket pivot point signal today. MDSO is continuing to consolidate very tightly. I think I want to go ahead and put on the buy stops. Yelp, I'm going to go ahead and put on the buy stops now that this consolidation is long enough again. Groupon is consolidating very tightly. I want to add buy stops on Groupon. And then also GILD, like I already showed, so that's all. And then CYD is the other one I'm thinking about. Not quite too sure yet. I don't think it trades enough volume personally for me to be interested in it, so that can be one that you guys can do. But besides that, also today, QLYS, Qualys Incorporated, beautiful pocket pivot point signal today with a surge in volume and BOP as it moves along its uptrend. Some decent earnings and sales growth recently, so this is one to keep an eye on. If it can start to consolidate, I would like to get long this stock. And then to show you the strength that's out there, FLDM, Fluidigm Corporation. It is producing a pocket pivot point signal on a breakout with BOP jumping back up to max green BOP. And what's interesting about this long is that I have a hard stop, buy stop on the books with a break above 2025. A close at 2026 activates my buy stops. Since I'm getting an overnight, end of day pocket pivot point buy signal, breakout signal on a max green BOP and a heavy volume surge, I'm going to go ahead and remove the buy stop at 2026 and going to go ahead and initiate market orders for 4% of my account capital in this stock. So instead of doing 2% at the buy stop and 2% on this end of day signal, we're going to go 4% on an end of day signal. Also, I want everyone to keep an eye on the oil stocks, OIH and XLE, stocks like CVX, EOG, HAL, PDCE. They're starting to put in moves, so it looks like the oil sector wants to move, so definitely keep your eye on that. But besides that, overall, we are still under sell signal. That's lower lows and lower highs on the short term on all indexes. So as long as that remains the case, a little bit of caution is warranted here, but at the same time, I still recommend an overall neutral bias, especially if we're looking at the NASDAQ, which is the leading index. You can see it's still above the 50-day moving average. You don't go short above the 50-day moving average with our methodology, period. So why would you automatically assume that we are on a sell mode with a hard sell signal and that we're definitely going down? We have an index still clearly trending above the 50-day moving average with all the other indexes above the 200-day moving average. So it's too early to be calling a top here. Still, we're under a sell signal, but I recommend a neutral bias. Aloha.